This is one of my favorite topics to address with you guys. Everyday carry organizers and the gear and equipment that go inside them and how they perform. And in today's video, I'm gonna be doing a 1-year update with you on this particular kit. I've been using it for a year straight, and I'm gonna unpack what pieces of gear and equipment have really worked well for me, what maybe items have I updated and swapped out, and why. And I look forward to addressing all of that with you. As an example, we're gonna be addressing multi-tools. I've been using the Leatherman Charge forever in the system. Now I have the Arc, the kind of new flashy Leatherman that they released a few months ago. Been using it extensively. Has this usurped the Charge in the system or not, as well as many other capabilities and features. And if you're new to this concept, I hope, and you're deciding maybe I should build out an EDC kit, this video, I hope, will just give you good tips, ideas, items to steer towards and maybe steer away from. And if you already have a system like this, I hope that this video will just give you good food for thought, ideas, and maybe some concepts to help you fine-tune your own system. If you're new to the channel, I'm Aaron. This is Gideonstactical. Thanks for joining us today. Let's go ahead and dive on in. And guys, as always, I've included chapters in this particular video, so if you're familiar with a particular gear item and you want to skip ahead, those are included in the timeline below. And let's begin by addressing the first update that I have done to this system since first building it out. When you saw this a year ago for illumination, I had a really heavy-duty, overbuilt Phoenix flashlight. It's awesome, but it takes up a lot of space, it weighs down the pack, and it relies on CR123 batteries if your main dedicated battery runs out of juice. So I wanted something that was slimmer, lighter, and ran on either AAAs or AA's, and I have found an amazing solution in the Nitecore MT2A Pro. That's what I've been using here for a few months, not only on my person, but also in this kit. It is awesome, guys. Here's why. Very lightweight. It is the size of a normal pen in length, so great to just throw in your pocket if necessary, but it has 3 different settings, up to 1,000 lumens with a simple tail switch that you just tap to rotate through. It has really good ribbing and texture. Really love the good snappy actuation. There's no like third button and different modes, just super straightforward. It's got a reversible deep ride pocket clip, so you can put that on the bill of your hat, go hands-free illumination if you want to. Comes with and runs, giving it that power, a proprietary, if you will, USB-C recharging 1600 milliamp battery, but in the kit, I can now carry AA's and it will run on 2 AA batteries, no problem. So that if you're in an emergency or a survival situation, your proprietary battery runs out, not only can you easily, and I do, carry those, and this will just drop down to 2 settings, high and low, when you're using AA's. So I mean, this is the preferred choice if you're just regularly carrying it and power is accessible. But if the power goes out, extended use, and it's so easy to find AA's, whereas CR123s was just, it's tricky to find those and they're not always very accessible to find. So this is an awesome option, and what I have been using, and it won't break the bank, at about $50 is what this light will come in at with that dedicated battery. And I have also done 2 things to kind of augment this light and make it even more versatile. One is I've started carrying a Night Eyes, it's not Night Eyes gear ties, yes, but this is a headband that you can run a lot of different flashlights through different diameters, and it gives me an extra layer of hands-free illumination if for whatever reason I'm not wearing, like I'm wearing a beanie today, it's cold and snowing, you just aren't wearing a hat, you can still do, hands-free illumination, which I think is super important. And so just rotate into one item I continually have with me, the little Night Eyes gear tie. This one, I don't know, it's maybe a foot long. And if you're not familiar with these, you are missing out. They're basically like a Super Duty twist tie with rubber coating over it. But this is so cool. You can just use this and wrap it around and lash it to all types of things if you need to like aim it at something, or you can kind of like make this into a work light. Look at that. You can just kind of use it as a bipod right there and do what you need to do. I love this Night Eyes, so that is something in the kit that I carry with me all the time, and you can use it to just lash to all sorts of different things, you know, and not just the flashlight, but all sorts of other stuff. And so guys, I know we're going through a lot of gear, so throughout this video, if you are interested in a piece of geared equipment, I will have links in the video description box below that you can explore all of these different items through the affiliate links that I have provided for you guys below. And as we're going through this, we're about to address the Leatherman multi-tool situation, but before we do that, I do want to give just a quick shout out to today's sponsor, which is HUCKBERRY and their exclusive proof apparel, which is a smart technical series of apparel that I've been putting through their paces for over a year now, including the Rover series of pants, both the original as well as the double kneed, and the double kneed is excellent as a set of work pants. I've used them a lot when I'm building, constructing things around the property, but also when I'm doing a full day of bushcrafting in the outdoors. And there's also their Merino Wool 72-hour series, which is great as both a base layer, which I've used a lot when I go trekking and I know I'm going to be out there for extended periods of time in colder conditions, but also designs like their business casual polo are great for a gauntlet of meetings that you have planned that day. And I like a lot of their outer layers as well, having used them on camping trips with the family, but also extended overnights in the high country. And I'm super excited to give you a heads up on a once-in-a-lifetime adventure opportunity. HUCKBERRY is offering you the chance to win 2 first-class tickets to anywhere in the world. And it's super easy to get entered in a win. Between now and March 31st, 2024, when you purchase any proof gear item, you get 2 entries into this mind-blowing giveaway. So I'll have a link in the description box below over to the HUCKBERRY website where you can see all the details on this giveaway, and I'll include my exclusive 10% off promo code you can apply towards your very first purchase so you can ensure that you have all the gear you need and nothing you don't. So hop on over and check out all that HUCKBERRY has to offer. So I do believe every EDC system should have a solid multi-tool. There are great options out there. I'm a Leatherman fanboy. I just am. I'm not shy of that. I've owned Gerbers, Victorinox, SOGs, I mean, you name it, and they all have their place, but like when it comes to this type of system, Leatherman, I've yet to find something that replaces my Leathermans. Now, as I had told you guys before, now this is now discontinued, which is so sad, G10 version of the Charge with S30V steel blade. Excellent tool, used it extensively. You just see there all the love and wear. This was used a ton when we were RVing. Got all sorts of different accessories in there, but you know, it has S30V, and now there's MagnaCut. Now there's like so many other options, you know, that are available, particularly from Leatherman. Single hand action is beautiful, magnetic. There you go with their free technology. And in some ways, you know, the head is slightly larger than on the Charge and is going to give me, I believe, all the same tools, just about. There might be 1 or 2 tools that it doesn't. Has the pocket clip because I love carrying my tools. If I'm using them a lot, like a Leatherman, I'm like, oh, okay, I got like several projects to do. I'll throw it in my pocket like this. I don't really like using a pouch on my belt. That's me and my mileage. You guys leave a comment below. Let me know how you like to carry your multi-tools when you do use them. So how do I sit? Where do I fit? And where does it go in comparison to the pouch? And this pouch is a Leatherman MOLLE compatible pouch that I put on the MOLLE wall, which is 3x5, 3 high, 5 long, on this pouch that we'll get to a little bit later. And inside there, regardless of what, you know, Leatherman I would be using, I have their dumb, because it's proprietary, but all their different bits. And I do use the extension arm, so I can really get into like tight spaces if I have to. Always make sure that I have that with me. Now, I'll tell you, after having used the Arc, let me see if I can get this in here, there we go, and the Charge, the Arc, still not being used in this kit. Boom! Truth dart. I just, maybe it's just that I'm comfortable with the Charge. The Arc just doesn't do it for me. Maybe just a little bit heavier, not by much, but it's got a lot of like kind of sharp angles. The G10 is just so comfortable. And I've just found that between the two, I kind of like the blade shape. Where is it? There it is. The blade shape on the original kind of profile over the drop point. So it's mainly preference. I mean, the Arc is still a phenomenal tool, don't get me wrong, and there's a lot of capability in it, but this charge just continues to get it done for me. And I do really like the safety hook that the Arc does not have. It makes it really easy to do a lot of different tasks. So guys, I gotta say, that has not changed. Tried and true charge is still my go-to. And it's just, if you're building this out, it's just cheaper, man. I mean, it's like whatever. I mean, they still have like the polymer handle ones, and those things are, what are they? Like 160 last I checked, whereas the Arc is gonna be like 230, and outside the MagnaCut and the thumb, I don't really see any, you know, like value that this brings to the table that this would not be able to take care of with that entire setup. But let me know, guys, what multi-tool, if any, do you use? Really look forward to hearing your guys' thoughts on that. Now, let's go ahead and go to some edge tools here. You know, I love edge tools, and I gotta have backups. Even though I always head out the door with some sort of blade on me, having a few backups is important, mainly if you're, particularly if you're carrying like, say, a $200 really nice EDC folder, which you'll definitely do utility, and if you had to, you know, can definitely get the job done. But say a really nasty task arises, or there's a friend or a family member who needs an extra pocket knife to do a task with you or something, and you're like, I don't want to give you my freaking $200 blade. I don't want to risk it, or I just don't want to mar it up, and I want a beater. Well, for me, my beater is the Verdict, the original Verdict from Cold Steel. This thing is perfectly sized for this system because it is a 3-inch blade, fills out my hand well, very lightweight with the polymer handle, and it has the triad locking mechanism, which is like bomb-proof, bulletproof. This thing comes in around 50 bucks. This thing is rather inexpensive, so if I were to lose it or give it to somebody and they damaged it in some way, not gonna cry about it. Good loop over deep ride pocket clip, so in a pinch I could totally use it myself. It does have 4116 stainless steel, but I've found that that tends to work like most 8CR and AUS 8 steel, which for the type of task I would want this to put in, totally gets the job done. No issues there whatsoever, and that is an awesome option for me and has stayed tried and true. Because I looked through, as I was preparing for this, I'm like, is there any other pocket knife that I would rather put into this kit? And the answer is no. Because it's tough, it's durable, it's easy to resharpen, it's rather inexpensive, and it's compact. So all of those things really check the boxes for me, but maybe you have a job that requires or is just better suited for a little utility knife. Well, that's where my Work Pro push button lock utility knife comes into play. This operates like a Milwaukee Fastback, but it's lighter and slimmer. And since I have the multi-tools and all the other things, I'm like, I don't need a Fastback in this scenario. And it's great to fit like in a 5th coin pocket because of the loop over deep ride pocket clip right there. You can get like a 3-pack for 15 bucks, I think last I checked. So really inexpensive and definitely a good alternative to, say, a big bulky utility knife that you can obviously just swap out those blades, and it's very light as well. Now, as you guys can see here underneath that Night Eyes gear tie, I always got some bank line with me. I don't know why I use this more than paracord. I think it's just because I can get a little bit more length. I think this is at least 25 feet. It's reflective. I think it can hold 300 pounds last I checked. I can't remember off the top of my head, but at least my body weight. I always make sure it can handle it more than my body weight. And so that is an item that I always have. It's always good to have some form of cordage. But let me know, do you use bank line or do you prefer 550 paracord in your systems? Now, on the opposite side here, you know, the Leatherman can get so much done, but the tool that I actually use more, unless I'm having to cut wire, is this Knipex Cobra pliers. These things are 6 inches long. This is a 6-inch version with insulation, so that if I got into a sticky situation with electrical stuff, potentially, you know, I mean, know what you're doing and know that it's hopefully electrified, but, you know, better than the Leatherman, which is not going to be insulated. This has that rubber coating to hopefully give you some safety with that. But what I love is that they operate like channel locks, but they actually lock into place. You just press that button, put it where you want, boom. And I'll tell you, in tandem with this and the Leatherman with all of its bits, and the other tool I'm about to share with you in a moment that is mind-blowing and I love, that I've discovered, it's really hard to find a task that I can't get accomplished. I've done work on our furnace a couple times. I'm working on our dryer. The dryer motor just went out, took apart the entire dryer with these tools. and like working on it. So it makes it so that you don't even really have to take your tool chest with you in a lot of different scenarios. Now, obviously, I mean, if you're working on a construction site, duh, but I'm just saying for like basic stuff on a vehicle, basic stuff around your house, this kit I can just grab and just start doing a project, and it's gonna get done 9 out of 10 times without having to go to the tool box, which is just so dope. Now, on the flip side over here, we do have obviously a Bic lighter. It's always good to have some form of lighter to start a fire if you had to. I don't carry a fire steel in this EDC system though, just FYI. Let me know if that's a total miss for me. Should I do that? And let me know, do you carry Bics or Zippos in your systems? Now, along with that, always gotta have a Sharpie, a pen. I always have a Tide pen because I'm a big, I don't know, I always get like coffee drips or some sort of speckle, particularly because I have 2 kids. Something's always getting messy, so I go through these Tide pens really fast. Emergency whistle, gotta have that. Keep it around, get attention, give it to the kids if they need to, alert me to something, whatever it is. Now back here, we have a little stuff pocket, which I really like. And this carries a lot of slim, thin items, including about $100 cash. I think that's important. That would cover most meals out that we currently have, a tank of gas, something like that, whatever it is, to have some cash in case your card got, declined and there's some issue with your card or whatever. Now, I always have a few other just kind of instant things, including like a set of emergency if I feel a cold coming on, instant coffee to give me a little pick me up, and then some Propel if I'm just feeling kind of woozy out and about doing stuff and I just need, some extra electrolytes. Got some duct tape on a credit card, or not a credit card, but an old gift card. And then I like using Write in the Rain booklets. I've tested one of these for a month. I submerged one and then wrote on it and had writing on it, didn't smear, didn't do anything I could write on it. So that kind of works as a wallet. And then I always have some Gear Aid tabs. I just used these the other day on my friend Marv's Puffy. It's Puffy Tour. And he was like, yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And these are like designed for fabric, a lot better than duct tape. And I was like, oh dude, I got these patches, here we go, boom. So that is what I store in kind of the back panel and use all this stuff on a pretty regular basis. So that's all we got on the first 2 panels here, and we'll address the pouch itself. If you're curious, and you're like, dude, what are you carrying all this stuff in? I found this just kind of looking around. The reason I went with this Guy Trends organizer is 1, it was 20 bucks. 2, it had the right dimensions and size that I was looking for, and the layout is very hard to find in other EDC pouches. So that is something that I was really surprised with, that I was really happy with, and it's been durable for 20 bucks. Been totally impressed with it. Can't say enough good things about it. Got a nice little grab handle there, and there are days where I just grab this and we'll just throw this in the vehicle and that's all I need. But the reason that I use one of these versus trying to organize an entire like backpack and use all the pockets is I use multiple bags. I have gym bags, I have an EDC bag, an everyday carry, or excuse me, a day hiking pack. I can just grab this, I know everything is in there, and I just rotate it through whatever type of bag I might be needing that day, and it just keeps everything in a good spot. So, you can really stuff this thing out. Now it comes with these tassels right here, tassels. I removed one set and put red on it, not only to differentiate between the 2 divisions, but this is the compartment that carries my little IFAK, personal aid kit, first aid kit. And so that if I either needed to find it in a quick hurry, or if somebody was digging through my pack because I'm injured, I could say, yeah, it's in my bag and it's in the compartment with the red zippers. So that makes it just really easy to identify. And let's go ahead and dive into that portion. And this pocket system, this is one of the main selling points for me, is how they put these little compressed pouches that fit perfectly several different tools and items that are very tough for me to find other organizers that organize quite like this. And so we'll open this little Velcro piece up. You might be like, what the heck is this tassel piece? This is just a piece of like cheap toe strap that came in some sort of like, I don't know, giveaway box or something. I cut it to size, taped it so that I could then pull out all of my medical supplies. Check that out. So it makes it just very easy versus trying to like dig in there and like try and pinch and pull. It just makes it like where I can literally just pull and boom, there's all the gear and supplies that I need. So I really like that little feature. Now it doesn't hold everything. I do have eye drops in there. And then, I got like a little pouch with medications that, you may need, painkillers and antihistamine. Then I have a little pouch with Band-Aids, tweezers, a couple different coagulants and those type of things. And then I always carry a big giant Celox, as well as a SWAT T. Now, quick disclaimer, I am not a medical professional. So you need to take all of this information with a grain of salt, do your own research, find the pros and the cons to using different types of medications, supplies on your person or on somebody else, and ultimately get the training that you need. So do all of this and take all these suggestions at your own risk, always in every video, but particularly when it comes to medical supplies. Now this will, again, like an arterial wound, things like that. Now you may be like, well, what about like a CAT T? Yes, CAT T tourniquets are ideal. I have them, they don't fit in this system. And there's something to note about a SWAT T. One, from personal experience, I have used one on a buddy of mine who got a horrible, like just freak accident wound. We were an hour away from medical and from even like cell coverage, so we had to get in our vehicle, douse our campfire, leave the tents where we were, throw our dogs in the truck, and drive almost an hour before we could even get to a first responders like phone call. And then like it was about an hour before we got to an ambulance. The ambulance then took about an hour to get to a hospital. I applied one of these to his leg, and when he got to the doctor said if this was not applied, you probably would have bled out and died. So I trust SWAT Ts. I personally have used them, see their success, and as an added bonus, where CAT Ts are not always suitable for the appendages of pets, like your dog, if you ever needed to do something like that, and children, because their appendages can sometimes be rather small. This can fit on any size appendage because it's basically just a Super Duty Band-Aid. I mean, a rubber band. That's basically what it is. So that's why I use SWAT Ts. I have children, I have a pet, and so it just has more versatility for me in this particular system, and that's why I use them, and I've seen their success. So that's that. Now let's go ahead and go to this other set of tools, and yes, and I want to know if you guys have been using these, and if not, what type of system do you use? Check this out. This is one of the most useful tools I have in my collection, and it is the Klein Tools Mini Ratchet Set. So it comes for like 15 bucks. You get a couple little bits, you get a little adapter head as well. It is magnetic and will hold most 1/4 inch size bits right there, has your little ratchet toggle, and is ideal to get into tight spaces and use this little tool. I've used it extensively, tuning up and fixing my furnace a couple times, as well as, again, going back to working on like the dryer. It's just like phenomenal. And then I bought, to go with that, some Nico ratchet heads, both standard and metric. And with this kit and with all the other things, I mean, it's like a little, I have like a little tool chest with me that, is like 9 by 7, I think. I mean, it's just wild. And so this whole kit is like 20, 25 bucks. So just wild that all of this stuff is functional. But leave a comment below and let me know, have you been using this since last year, particularly if you've been watching? And if you're new to the channel, like, do you see value in this, or do you use something similar? And if so, what would that be? Now, power, always got to have some good power backup. Obviously, I've been using this Anchor now for quite a while. It's pretty slim, just one, port, and it will do 10,000 milliamps is what that will do. And then, you got all your cords, sucky that we have to have like 1,000 cords, and there's another night eyes in case I needed it. Now behind that row of 3 is just a stuff pocket, perfect for kind of narrow, slim items. I always have a bandana, like 100 different things you can do with a bandana. And then I always have, these are pretty cool. These are like natural deodorant wipes, so you can actually like wipe away your sweat, and then they smell good to boot versus like a spray or something like that. I always have 1 or 2 of those, and then you always got to have a few butt wipes. These happen to be some dude wipes, but like little individual wipes, just in case it's a brutal run to the bathroom, or if they're, God forbid, no toilet paper. So that's all on this side. Then if we rotate here, this is like the weirdest pocket setup, because you have 4 zipper pocket compartments, but it's only 2 pockets. So it's just like you get at the top or you get at the bottom. Now, what's cool is over here, I've been using for a while now, and I don't even know if this was actually in my kit last time, but JBL wired earbuds, so that now they're kind of like a backup, but I use wired so I don't have to worry about recharging them, because sometimes this will sit in a backpack for a couple weeks, and it's like, what happens if they run out of battery? So it's just good to have like non-battery required earbuds, in my opinion. Then we've got over here, been using this for so long and still love it, my little Work Sharp Pocket EDC sharpener. We got a ceramic rod, we got a diamond stone, and then we got 3 torque bits inside there, ideal for most like torque bits you're gonna find on a pocket knife. And this is how simple it is. Now it's just for, like honing. You're not gonna like reprofile a whole blade this way. It's just not ideal, but you can definitely just tune up your little blade. If you have a friend or family member, you guys are hanging out and they're like, oh yeah, my knife still. Boom, you can just do that. And then obviously you got your diamond stone to take out some little burrs that may appear if needed. And then the torque bits just fit, magnetized, boom, right in there. Check that out. Then you got the torque you need to and maintain your pocket knives and things like that. So this just works perfect. I mean, it's like you don't really need that much else for an EDC system, in my opinion. Now, this isn't a survival kit. This is an EDC system. And then just finally, to kind of wrap it all up, always got to have a little bit of a tape measure. So got my Fat Max 6 as well as hand sanitizer, which is a great fire accelerant and to keep the germs at bay. Well, guys, there it is. That is my EDC system. Majority of stuff has stayed tried and true. A few little updates, but I look forward to hearing from you guys. What is your take on this system? Do you carry a system like this? Is this way overkill? Do you love it? Do you hate it? And what gear and equipment do you trust in your EDC systems? I always appreciate your guys' feedback. You guys give me ideas all the time. I thank you for spending time with me, and I do hope it's been fun and entertaining, but also informative for you. And I do invite you to check out the other video popping up and to subscribe if you haven't yet. And until next time, always remember to stay equipped, stay prepared, and I'll see you out there.